I'm Dave, and I'm going to talk to you about closures. Has anybody in this room done anything with them? Don't ask too hard questions. It started out, it's like, to get the context. There's a weekly coding challenge I participate in, the Perl Weekly Challenge, and we were solving this. Find the first 20 gapful numbers greater or equal to 100. This is, like I said, the Perl Weekly Challenge. And as a Perl programmer, of course, I'm going to be doing this in JavaScript. Because it's like, I don't just want to talk to myself. I want to talk to other programmers, and everyone has need to know at least a little bit of JavaScript. And although I feel I have to put up this warning, I put this together on my work machine, which does not have Node, and I had forgotten I had installed Node on this. So I'll be going back to this page to pull out an example. This is also very professional, but I'll hit the narrow context of the solution, what a gapful is, just to understand why I'm even wanting to do this, and get to the part where we get into closures and why I think they're interesting. Which is, a gapful number is you take a two or more digit number, pull off the first and last digit, and see if it divides equally into that number in the first place. So, numbers under 100 are trivially like that. 99 modulus 99 is going to equal 0. Over 100, it's like 100 in this case. Well, let's just see 100 and 101 right here. These two, we're going to test those. No, I thought I had one in here. Anyway. I'm coming out of a cold. There'll be a lot of those. I am sorry, but 100 becomes 10 in 100 modulus 10 is 10. Is 0, it goes in evenly. That is true. With 101, 11 doesn't go in even. That is false. So that writing, figuring it actually, per number basis is easy. And so the number is, okay, let's go on and on and on and on and see which numbers count. And well, if I had thought harder about this, I would have created a separate file store on this, but I realized that I had Node on this machine while you were talking, so so professionalism. Here we can go through and say we're going to go. I have an idea now that I've solved this and turned this in this, but when I was writing this, I didn't have an idea of how many, it's like, is it under 100? Is it into the 1,000? So let's go with 1,000 and we'll see, and then we'll break after 20. And it's there's a count. And we it's 190 is the top one, nice and quick and easy. The thing is, here we went through 920 that we didn't have to. and didn't stop because I didn't know to stop. Well, the easiest form in copy. Simple 5 lines right here. Basically, we're creating a context. N exists, within these 2 brackets. And within these 2 brackets, it gets, iterated. It gets added to and returned. And otherwise, it does not exist. It cannot be gotten 2 other ways. And so the loop I did that. Commenting, in editor themes kind of grays it out, which is I kind of get, but this is better than many. It's my minor whine, but it makes it hard to pull out things like this. Yeah, this is the one. And here we're making an iterator. We're giving this function. We're starting at 100, and we're doing the test. There, and we're fill out. I'm not sure breaking. Break. Okay. Break means stop doing the whole loop thing. And continuous equivalent of next. I think JavaScript chose poorly here, but minor critiques from me aside. You see, it looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Another way, I would often do this is, in Perl it would be a range command. There's a slightly more obscure way to do it in JavaScript, which I've done and taught and cannot remember right now. So you basically have, in this case, if I was going, using the to 1,000 as a thing, I have a 900 bucket array that I only need 90 of. That's taking up memory, and if I was solving a substantially hard problem, that would be a substantial waste of memory. And in here, you just never do that. You just have, saying, give me the next, and it knows what's going on there. And okay, JavaScript, they overthink things. They have an object-related iterator. I think an iterator class is the way to actually put it. And you will add, and then the make iterator that. And do that. Again, it looks the same because the same, but this is a much more complex function trying to go through. I mean, it gives you the possibility of putting an end mark and dying at that point. But I forgot we're getting an object that contains a value rather than a number, and so I was testing that object for a value, and it would not ever return that value because it's an object, not a value, and thus infinite looping and killing my browser. Yay, Dave. But yeah, that's just knowing what you're dealing with. So that's the end of my desperation talk. Questions, comments?
In this last version, what is I see we're creating a function called makeRangeIterator.
Yes,
and then we're saying how does it create the iterator? Because this one is a little less less normal than what I expect to see from in other programming languages. What's happening under the hood with this?
Well,
how does it create this iterator? I guess when I think about, I mean, not the iterator, but when I think about a closure, I think about the context of the outer scope.
Yeah.
And then that traveling along with the thing that you're returning back. And I think it's harder to see in this function what that outer scope is and what you're so you're returning back the range iterator on that you created on line 19.
Yeah, it's like this. I mean,
next. Oh.
Yeah.
So you create an object.
Yes, that has
a next property.
Yes.
And the next property is a function.
Right.
And then okay, down in 37, you're actually, you've created the iterator and you're calling the next function. The next function, is the next function being called on 37, is that the same as the next, this is my lack of knowledge in JavaScript, is that the same as the next that's defined on line 20?
Yes, this is, this is this, yes.
Okay.
So, rather than, this being a function like in, this, it becomes this being an object with the method next and
So it returns an object with two members, value and done.
What is done? Where does done get set?
Well, done gets set there. I mean, in theory, I could do, it's like, it's like if next done, is true, then break. But it's like here. I mean, this is a more full fun. It's like that would be the fuller form of what I was originally doing with the for loop. And of course you can jump by tens or.
So two more. So one other question I had was, so for the challenge, for the gapful number challenge, did anybody find a solution where you can actually calculate the nth gapful number, as opposed to like going through each value and checking? I would think, like sometimes when I see these types of problems, I wonder, I say, okay, there's the way of like iterating through all the numbers, but then there's also, it also feels like there's usually a pattern that you can look for, and once you find the pattern, then you can say, okay, you can just calculate the first 20 of them, as opposed to like searching for the first 20, you know? And then the other question I had that maybe is also, what did you get a chance to look at the timing differences between the different approaches? Like if one approach took significantly longer to calculate than the other?
I did not. I have seen and can look up old code examples on how to do timing on, in JavaScript. I have done it more often, but not more recently in Perl, and so, I have a sense of those as well. I just have to remember how to do that. For me, it's like, I put 4 solutions in at once. It's like ran them with a new line between them, and it's like, they kind of wouldn't like that because, 100 to 190, that is trivial for, trivial range for computers to deal with. It's getting into the thousands and millions before, it even breaks a sweat. So yeah, you'd have to do this a couple, and it's like, when the margins are as low as they are, I would go for, optimizing for programmer ease rather than compiler. Ease, it's like, and gets to, I would in production, I would probably more often use a for loop than a closure for this kind of thing, simply because I wouldn't want to have everything lean on the next programmer understanding what I was doing with it. And for loops, that's part of every beginner, programmer training. Closures, that's something you pick up in the alleys, after school. But yeah, but I believe it's the second one. That's you can go and see all the other solutions. I just haven't gone. Been busy and is it? I was talking about, this is the
That's Perl?
This is Perl. It's also, see, equals 20x, it's saying actually, everybody used to see as a, counter use of that, but
I guess I was just wondering.
There's this sometimes people go back and critique. I'm sure for previous ones, in Fuller Death. Let's see this one if it's a little bit. Oh, it's actually documented more. That much is in. Function parameters, that's why.
We're also using a loop too.
Yeah.
This one's more like a book than a solution.
Yeah.
2 pages.
Test, but yeah, in other ones, releases other of the, it's like people, there have been people saying, well, it's like these people did it this way, these people did it in this language. Raku is a Perl offshoot, and so, and this little.
Oh, that's the logo.
Yes, that's Camilla, the Raku butterfly. But there, this people, instances that doesn't seem to, at least on this one, where people go back through and read the different ones and find which ones are, do different cool things. But this one I blogged, and as I mentioned, it was the getting from 100 to the top number. That was where I had the most fun with this. The actual solution, is this gap full or not, is fairly trivial. I mean, some languages it's easier to grab the first and last digit than others. In mine, it's like if there was casting to string and then parsenting it back once done. And the joy of substring. Substring, I can go decades without using it, but it's good to know that it's always there. Further questions, comments, snide remarks?